Welcome back to TAD Talk, episode 12. Is it episode 12? I can't believe it. This is crazy. Like 2 hours ago, we started episode 1. Well, episode -1, actually. When we started doing this, we did a little test run. And a good friend of mine, talented friend of mine, was the guy who really provided the impetus for me for TAD Talk to be what it is. And he's the guy that's trying to turn off his TV right now. Welcome to the show, Michael Paul.
Really thought I was getting a different channel.
You're not gonna happen. We fix it. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for, it's nice. You've really made something wonderful out of this, and you have a lot of viewers. I'm wondering how many viewers are not in the TAD family and or have now started participating outside of it, you know?
So here's a little bit of info. When we looked at it yesterday, this week, was it this week or maybe the previous 7 days, we had 177 new likes on our particular TAD Talk thing. So
awesome
for that area, and it's great when we get them from people from all over the place, and of course viewers ask questions. Someone just said, "Edie Shield, is that?"
That's my mummy.
That's your mum, is it? Okay, well, Edie, there's your daughter. So, Michael, where are you in quarantine?
So I'm in Hollywood, California.
Right.
So, you know, obviously everything has stopped here, you know.
Yeah, we're locked down.
Just like everywhere else, you know.
Are you sharing the space with anybody?
No, I'm not. It's just me.
You and your puppets. Ouch.
People do want to ask that. They're like, where are the puppets? I'm like I sit them up and we have tea together at the table.
Do you not?
I know people that do, and I don't befriend these people.
Also on the show today is a friend of mine for a long time. It's a guy I respect very much. We had a rather roller coaster experience at a restaurant that I used to have called Sky, but a roller coaster in a great way. The guy is a super guy and now spends his time in Puerto Penasco in Mexico. This is Bob Conrad. Conrad, how are you?
Good morning. Hi, Terry. Thanks for having me on here today.
And I told you you're in Puerto Penasco down there with Lisa?
I am. My wife and I are up on the 5th floor of our, we don't have a 5-story house, but we live up on the 5th floor with a great view. So we have a great opportunity to look at nothing a lot. I mean, there's nothing. Our town is shut tight. But hey, you know, it is what it is, and we're hanging in there just like everyone else.
Now, the last time we chatted on video, which was a few days ago, I noticed there was a little more alcohol in the cupboard behind you than there is right now.
We are allowed to go shopping. Being in the demographic that I'm in, I have restricted times that I'm able to shop. But be that as it may, I have a guy, or I guess in this case, I have an amigo. So there's no shortage of tequila and cerveza, although they have closed the beer plants in Mexico. And that is true. They have closed the manufacturing plants. So we'll figure it out. That's the least of our problem.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, great to have you on TAD Talk.
Thank you.
Finally, one of the best singers I've ever heard, but also I hadn't met her till just recently. And she's in the UK at 7 o'clock at night there. Welcome to Tracey Shield. Hi, Trace.
Hello.
How are you?
How you are?
Your mum is geeking out here right now.
Bless her.
So you're in
me for a while, that's why.
Yeah.
Seen me for ages. And
you're quarantining at home, is that right?
yeah, see, I'm quite near London, and my mum's up in Coventry, so it's quite far away. So, to mum.
And are you sharing a space with anybody? Or is it just you?
Just me, just me and my wig.
You and your Celine wig. Is it going well? Are you handling it okay?
Oh, she's a diva. She's terrible. She's not happy. She's not happy about this lockdown at all.
Are you okay with being on your own for this lockdown?
Yeah, it's exactly like being in a cabin for me on a ship. I have been training for this all my life.
Yeah, no kidding.
I am fine.
That's great. Well, we got loads of people saying hi. Tobias Stewart just said, yay, Tracy.
Oh, these are good people.
Yeah, well, lots of people on here. Linda Wolf is saying hi to everybody as well. But we kick off TAD Talk with 3 quick-fire questions, random questions. Some of them come from viewers. We try to elicit some quick answers. I have a feeling this one might be a bit good. And we're going to start off with a strange question from a viewer. But here it is. And we're going to start with Michael Paul. Michael, and this is going to go to all 3 of you. You've been given an elephant. You can't give it away and you can't sell it. What are you going to do with that elephant?
Well, first of all, now what am I going to do with 2 elephants? Well, my first thought is do a ventriloquist act, but my knees would not hold out. I would probably, I would use it as I would probably eat it, and then whatever is left, use it as a studio apartment in New York City.
The best part of that is what am I going to do with 2 elephants? I love it. Conrad, you've been given an elephant. You can't give it away or sell it. What are you going to do with the elephant?
Throw a huge rug over the top and offer rides to kids in the neighborhood.
There you go. That's a good answer. It's very, that's what we do, isn't it? We know how to promote.
Exactly. Thank you for catching that.
Tracy.
Oh, I would ride it round like the Queen of Sheba. That's what I would do.
What, you around your house there?
Yeah, or down the street.
Yeah.
The supermarket.
Let's go shopping with it. Brilliant. Hey, Wendy Tramer, a viewer in Canada, just said our beer plants are open in Canada. They're just making hand sanitizer now. I think that's true, actually.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I don't know what hand sanitizer tastes like, but it might be good.
Really?
Yeah. Tracy, here's one for you. Which habit irritates you the most?
Oh, I hate snoring.
Do you?
Oh, I hate anyone who snores. If I can hear snoring when I'm asleep, oh my God. All of my family will know exactly what I'm like with any of those noises.
Do you snore?
Probably.
Okay, we got snoring. Conrad.
I'm not a fan of people who crack gum.
Crack gum?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when they chew their gum and it makes that popping sound.
Oh, okay.
Or nail biters on airplanes. There's another one.
Oh, yeah. I don't like that either.
Oh, I think nail biting is going to be deemed illegal soon. We can't touch our face, so nail biting. Michael, Michael, what about you? What habit irritates you the most?
So my biggest thing is when you're at dinner with someone and they take their fork and they put it on the plate and then they move the food onto their fork, like the peas. And I'm like, why don't you just use your hands after that? Or get a spoon.
Wow, it's great. Here we are in a global pandemic, and those are the things that irritate. This is awesome. Conrad, here's the final question for you. What is the one thing that you just refuse to share?
Interestingly enough, or possibly not so much, because of my background working with a lot of superstar recording artists, I'm asked often to tell stories about things that I've never discussed publicly. And even though my career this year hits 51 years, there are things that I've experienced that out of the code of ethics of the music industry, I will not talk about. And now you and I may talk about it over a cocktail or a cup of coffee, but in terms of sharing those tales, I lived it. I don't need to talk to anyone about it. So that's me. I don't want to share some of my stories of working with some of the artists that I have.
I've heard a couple of them, and they are great. And in fact, Anne, my wife, as you know, just jumped on here and said, Conrad, who was the most, and maybe you don't want to answer, and least favorite celebrity you've ever worked with? Who's your favorite celeb you've ever worked with?
Instinct, probably Tony Bennett.
Great.
And for a couple of reasons, not just the fact that I was part of the team that engineered his comeback album, which was called Art of Excellence, But the fact that I had the opportunity to work with an act who my parents also liked and spent part of their lives enjoying, the fact that I eventually became an integral part of their promotion team meant a lot to me. And Tony Bennett, the fact that he's still out there, again, I have a lot of stories one-on-one with him, but he was probably one of my favorite people to work with. Him and Journey would probably be two among my favorite actors.
I would agree. I got to open for Tony's toupee.
How'd that work out for you?
He is a great act. You're thinking, what's he going to do alone? But it's good. His medley he is range.
Pretty amazing. Michael, what's the one thing you won't share?
I won't share any information about my toupee. I won't really share about my love life to people in general, because there is not one. And I won't share my breakfast cereal.
Oh, okay.
Aww.
And what is that cereal normally?
It's the one thing I really shouldn't keep it in the house, because it's the one thing I really have no self-control over. I'm like a dog. I'll like eat until I die. So I just love it. It's very comforting. And I don't know, I like the milk, and it's a formula for me. I just like it.
Tracey, what are you not going to share? Oh, here we go.
My Easter egg.
Easter eggs.
It's mine. And it's Cadbury's.
All right, so we could have a whole show here about English Easter eggs, Cadbury's chocolate.
Yeah, the best.
Oh boy, I missed that. Now I'm gonna have to find a
and mini eggs.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Okay, well, we're gonna stay with Tracey. All three people here have had amazing careers, and I can't wait to chat with each and every one of you. With Tracey, we've actually only known each other for, I don't know, a couple of years. Always knew of you, and through TED Management, we represented you. But if I'm honest about it, it was there. Jan was representing you, and I knew you, and you were there. And for me, for me personally, you kind of went under the radar a little bit until the expo. And then you walked on the stage and opened your mouth, and I went, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
That was rehearsals. That was awesome. That was. I loved that whole experience. That was just so cool.
You can sing the shit out of stuff.
Thank you. Sometimes.
Where did it start? How did you? You're here now doing what you do, traveling around the world in cabins. But how did it start, and how did you get up there?
I've literally been singing since I was 10, and I did amateur dramatics for about 10 years as well in Coventry. It's called Yog, and it's still going. It's the most amazing company. And I then just joined bands and just would sing all the time. And then I did Stars on the Rise. So that was year 2000. So it's the 20-year anniversary for me this year of doing Celine. I actually brought my picture because there's my signed picture from Celine. So I've
never seen you on Stars in the Rise. Is that out on YouTube?
Have you not? It's on YouTube.
Can you send us that link? We'd love to add it to this feed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, it's an interesting wig. Let's just say that much.
Well, for US viewers who don't know Stars in the Rise, it was basically a show, kind of reality show where they would show footage of people in their everyday life.
Normal jobs.
Yeah, normal jobs, and some of it, was put together and so on. And then they'd walk out as this impersonated artist. It was at the beginning of that show, those early days, I thought it was a great show.
Yeah, well, my final in 2000 actually had 16 million viewers.
Wow.
And that's unheard of now for TV in England. So
no,
it was a pretty cool show back in the day. I think they're going to bring it back, which I'm not too happy about.
Yeah, it depends how they do it. But I like stuff. Rachel Hodges just said, the greatest tribute to Celine in the world.
Ah, she would say that because she's gorgeous.
If you haven't seen or heard Tracey sing, just check out this performance. What a voice. Whoa. You look like $1 million up there as well, Trace.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone's geeking out about it. We've got love emoticons going all over the feed. That's great. Great stuff. And of course, that's the Celine Dion side. Tributes we found in our industry. And Conrad and I will probably talk about this. We were literally at the forefront of what we now know as a tribute market here in the US. And we know only too well how tributes and impersonators and the tribute market is now becoming a legitimate art form and shows that can sell hard tickets. People are going to see these, and it's great. But as well as the Celine stuff, you've got your own single out now.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
It's called Loving You. It's been out for a few months now, and obviously, you know, it knocked Taylor Swift off the Billboard Top 100, obviously, in my dreams. But you know what? I love singing as myself, and it's especially on ships now, to get the chance to do my Celine show and to sing as myself, 2 separate shows. I'm so lucky to be able to do that, and I actually really do love singing as myself, just my own voice.
I bet
that's something special.
This is Tracey.
You can take all my secrets, hold them for me. When we get lonely together, we'll be. I know how your heart works. It's beating with me, working like clockwork on a journey for free. It's all about you, and it's all about me. I'll stay right beside you, and then you will see me loving you, loving you, loving me, loving you.
Great song, Tracey. It's fantastic. We'll be putting
Thank
it
you.
on here if anybody wants to go out and get there. Is this available on Apple iTunes and all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, iTunes, Spotify, everything. Yeah.
Well,
Buy it.
go out and get it. It's 99 cents. Well worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or on Spotify, it's about 0.999 cents. But
Yes. Well, yes, it's something.
Well, Conrad, no doubt when you were in the heyday of your career, in my opinion, the #1 radio guy out there, and certainly record promoter, I bet you could have done something with Tracey as well with that single. But how are you doing?
Not bad. Frankly, just in terms of what we do at TAD, trying to reinvent some of the things that we've done over the years and using this time to get to know some of our like media people a little better, get to know them on a different level. It's not like they don't have as much free time as I do. So, we're actually trying to stay optimistic looking ahead for when we at TAD come back with our next series of shows. And we're going to do more of what we did right and obviously try and not do what we think didn't work. So business as usual in a very bizarre manner of speaking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When we were at Sky at the restaurant, we were creating something on the fly every day. When we came out in 2008, and I remember working very closely with you. It was a great time for me, great memories. But the stories that you have, including the ones that you're not going to share, some amazing stories, and your history in the industry is vast. I'd love if you could give us an insight. In those days when you're with Billy Joel and you're with Journey, and what a typical day looked like for you back then.
I was I think the first promotion manager, which was my title, and there were a number of us across the country. Our primary jobs was to secure airplay for Columbia artists. We had conference calls every week, at least one or two a week, and we knew what our priorities were. It wasn't just maintaining the Billy Joels, the Journeys, the Barbra Streisands, the Neil Diamonds, the Willie Nelsons. That's a given. The harder work, of course, and not that that was easy, was to figure out ways that we were going to take bands that no one had yet heard of. A guy named Michael Bolton. When Michael first started, we had his album. He was in a rock band, or his band was called Blackjack. And he had a hit song called Fool's Game. And over the years, of course, turned into a solo career as an AC or an adult contemporary artist. So a typical day was just dealing with mostly radio and New York, which is where Columbia was. And I was the guy in his house in Phoenix and spent a lot of time. I was the first person in the history of CBS Records who was ever approved to have an ice chest. The expense of an ice chest was approved so that in the summertime, I could take my records to radio stations. It only took one day of getting into my trunk, my first week in Phoenix, which was in July of 1978. Took one trip to a radio station on the west side to find liquid wax. The entire trunk was melted records, and I realized I had to do something. And I was the first guy that was approved to buy an ice chest to carry records, which made it interesting for the program directors because they said, here comes the guy with the cold records as opposed to the hot hits. So it was just an amazing experience.
And that little 2-minute clip encapsulates what it's like to sit with Conrad in a coffee shop with a cigar and just sit back and listen. And it's not name dropping with him. It's great. So good to be around you, Conrad. You're extremely positive and it's great to be associated with you. I have tons and
the feeling is mutual, and all I can hope is that this continues for a very long time.
It will. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be on the other side of this. We just don't know what the new normal will be, but it will be cool. It's because it's what we do. Everything we've always done is cool. It's fun. We'll just adjust to it. But it's wonderful. Just one real quick anecdote about Conrad. When just after we'd been working for a short while, his job where we were at was merely just trying to move some tickets and promote the restaurant, promote some of the shows. And we hung out, and there was really not much talk of his past. And I really didn't know much about it. And I went around to his house. He invited me around to the house. We're going to talk about stuff. He said, hey, let's go in my office. We sat down, and I sit down. I'm not exaggerating here. 4 walls, from the floor to the ceiling, all 4 walls, I'm looking at gold records and platinum records. And they go round. I don't know if we have that clip, but if we don't have that clip, we're going to put it on there where you see the picture of his house. And it's gold and platinum records from the floor to the ceiling. Insane. Crazy. So such a pleasure to be able to say you're my friend, Conrad, that's for sure.
And the feeling is mutual.
That's for sure. Michael, how are you?
I'm very well. I love hearing everyone's life journey. It's really lovely.
It is, and I know you're from Philadelphia, which same as, so I know before the show you guys were Philadelphia chatting.
Yeah, Conrad and I were started out in the tri-state area, which was a huge television and radio market back in the day, and it was a fascinating time to be a part of an industry.
Yeah, absolutely. You are you're one of the funniest people I know.
You need to get out more.
Off stage. On stage, it goes without saying because people see it, but you're brilliant. And, a lot of people won't know all the other stuff you're doing with producing and directing and so on. You got a brilliant mind. You're never afraid to share it. In fact, when we put TED Talk together, we did a test run, and Michael was kind enough to be on that test run and then give me a bunch of pointers. And frankly, the format of the show is much of it is down to Michael and his input. So thank you for that. But you're funny. It's brilliant. And ventriloquism, I always find myself writing ventriloquist next to your name because you're so much more.
I hate it too. It is a double-edged sword. I started out as a regular stand-up and an improv guy, and then when the comedy boom hit in the late 80s, early 90s, Ventriloquist said, I was already working in puppetry for television, and they said, you really should put it into the act so you're not just another guy in front of a microphone. It would be more marketable. And I didn't really know anything about in the comedy world. There's a kind of a hierarchy about the purist of being a stand-up comic as opposed to a prop act, or that, 30 years later, I'd have to drag around a box full of crap the rest of my life. But, I think that sometimes, a lot of times people hear ventriloquist and it's an eye roll, and I totally understand why that is. So, but I have a little bit of a different background, so I try to infuse it and implement it in a different manner that when people get there, they're surprised and actually want to stay.
Yeah, no, ironically enough, we've had some great guests on TED Talk, Matt Marcy, Heath Hyde, Ivan Purcell, yourself. I said the same to Ivan when he was on the show, that the biggest compliment I can give is that obviously I sit in front of a computer and watch act after act after act and go and see shows. And frankly, it gets old, that. Yeah. You see I saw your full show, I think it was 80 minutes. And I'm like, I was completely engaged with what you were doing and laughing from the beginning to the end. And it speaks volumes about a comedy act there.
Well, I think that, it's a very difficult balance because, you're there to entertain your audience. So you can't be like, they're not getting it, or I'm going to do whatever I want. And at the same time, you can only alter it so much where it's not what you do anymore, and then it's clumsy and bad, and the bookers are mad, and you feel embarrassed or whatever. So I think that that also decides what bookings you should take. Is this my audience? Sometimes even if you need the paycheck, you got to say, I'm not the act for you.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's the key part of our industry. Heath Hyde is watching the show. He just said, wait, what is he saying? Dragging around a box of crap?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Heath. I think he is one of the funniest guys I've ever met. When I saw him, I'm like, I quit.
Heath is hilarious. He's brilliant. Jan Stenning said, Michael, your skin looks incredible. What are you doing?
Oil of Olay, I drink it. It looks good from here up. From here down, I look like an ice cream cone that melted in the sun.
If anybody out there has not seen Michael, Paul, and his friends on stage, check out this.
So I lost all this money, and then I sold my car, and Avis was pissed. Old people, can I talk about that? Please, they know what it's about. You're a vibrant, lovely couple. You're a vibrant and lovely couple. And what do you do? Okay, great. I understand. What do you do? Do you work? Thank you. That's what I thought. That's good. Are you with this girl over here?
Oh, she's my sister.
Oh, so. But you did not answer my question, really. Too single in this room. Yeah, but you raised it fast. You're a little needy. Anyone else?
I'm a nurse.
At a hospital or a private practice or?
Retirement home.
I can't believe you're even smelling this good. I am fed up with you people in the back. I really am. I don't need you people. I don't care about you people.
Welder.
You're a welder. What do you do?
I work with dogs.
Who's a good welder? Who's a good welder? Why didn't you tell me before my fly was down? I don't know. I thought you were going to take out another puppet. Welcome to Sesame Street on acid. Oh, come on. All right. I'm going to kill you, John. Come on, don't say that. Crap. Honey, I got so much medication in me. My urine has street value. You take a horse steroid. Oh, yeah. How do you think I won 2
Sam Fideli, who, as you know, is a very, very funny man, just came on, said, Michael Paul kills me, but I like his mom better.
He likes my mom better because I have a very stereotypical Jewish mother. And whenever you say something she doesn't like, she goes very close to the face and quick. So you could be like, you could do a terrible joke or something off color or tell her she's wrong, and you're done with the conversation. It's over. The end. You're dead. You're never allowed to talk for the rest of your life. The end.
Love it.
Can I just say, I don't even have to watch the news because my mother calls me every 18 minutes about what's happening out in the world right now. And unfortunately, all of her information comes from the ladies she plays Mahjong with. And it's 3 days later than the rest of the planet. So it's also not healthy. And then when I tell her she's wrong, she just goes,
Is that a cup of oil of Ule there, or is it something else?
Yeah, right. It's exactly what it is.
So, the COVID-19 outbreak, etc., has changed all our lives. We're all quarantined, but you and I and a few of our people around us have created some new things, hence TAD Talk. And I know that you're doing a late night evening thing, which I think is hilarious and going to be long lasting, I have a feeling. Tell us about it, Michael.
Well, I have obviously some friends in variety, and some magic guys who are really terrific called me and said, we want to do a late night thing. Would you host it? Not being a magic guy, that might be nice. And I said, well, everyone's doing this live stream thing, and only some of them are good. And do people want to give up their time? And I didn't want it to be people talking about their careers or war stories or the same old thing, or be inclusive just to magic. So it's late night. It's PG over I would say 17, where people are kind of like grabbing a drink, smoking a cigar, and we have an illustrious world-class panel, and it's rapid fire for 30 minutes, questions and games and call in, and some really funny characters and pre-taped stuff, and it's a little unplugged. So it's called Late Night Magic Touch.
Okay.
And and if you go to Michael Paul Live on any of the my social media platforms, you have to RSVP to receive your viewing link. It's free, but that way you can participate and see it. And we're going to premiere it tonight. We have the host of Las Vegas, Jeff Hobson from Broadway. We have Matt Marcy from The Gong Show and Fool Us. We have Alex Ramon from was the youngest Ringling Brothers ringmaster as a magician. And it's going to be very fun and a little naughty.
And what time is it on tonight, Michael?
It'll be at 10 p.m. East Coast time, 7 p.m. West Coast time.
Cool. I believe we have a clip of that. Can we?
I think we have a promo, yeah.
It's my new rapid fire 30-minute show called Magic Touch. It's not what you think. All right, it's what you think.
$7 o'clock tonight. I am. So you got to RSVP to it. Is that right?
You do. It's masterclass, magicianmasterclass.com/late. But you can find the link on any of my social media platforms, Michael Paul Live.
I am definitely doing it tonight, 7 o'clock.
Right.
We don't have a whole entertainment.
We also have our own in-house rabbit, so you'll have to come see it.
Well, I just read something about the wand is missing, the rabbit is dead.
The wand is broken, the rabbit's dead. That's right.
Okay, we'll learn more about that at 7 o'clock. At 10 o'clock Eastern tonight. So go to Michael Paul's social media pages and click on that. It's going to be fun. Tracy, for you, that's going to be 6 a.m. Are you cool with that? Oh, no, it's not 6 a.m. It's going to be 3 a.m. Yeah, maybe. Well, we'll watch a rerun of it.
Yeah.
We have a segment on our show that we love. It's called Where in the World is Terry?
Where in the world is Terry? Where in the world is Terry?
All right. So where in the world is Terry? It's very simple. I changed my background. I'm not in a coffee shop. I'm in a house. And but I'm now going to take myself to another place. I just want you to tell me where it is. We go with one person. If they don't get it, if they suck, it goes to the other two, or the viewers can chime in as well. So we're going to start with Tracey. As you spend your life looking out of a cabin porthole. Where the hell am I?
Oh. New Zealand?
No.
Oh. Norway?
No.
Himalayas?
Oh my God, you suck, don't you? Michael?
The inside of my heart. If not that, I would say, is it Alaska?
It is. It is.
Oh, see, I've only ever been there once. And that was gone 10 years ago.
Is it really? It's gorgeous up there, you know. It's amazing. Yeah, Jan says.
Well, get me back there.
Glacier Bay.
Next year.
Did you hear that, Jan? Tracey would like to go to Alaska.
Yes, please, Jan.
Okay. This is one for Conrad. Now, I don't know if he's going to get this because you're going to have to look carefully at it. But Conrad, where in the world am I?
Oh, you see, I know that one.
Tucson Medical Center.
It is not Tucson Medical Center. Any ideas? Look around. Look at that little. Look at that.
I see.
I can't do it with it.
Conrad, we talked about it before the show.
Did you really?
I think so.
Really?
It's not Philadelphia. Were you talking?
I know.
Tracey, I think Tracey's got. What do you think, Conrad?
I have no idea, Terry.
Okay, just let me move over here a little bit. You see it now? Tracey?
Yeah, I recognize it.
Where is
What is it, Trace?
Is it Dallas?
It is Dallas. It's the Texas School Book Depository.
Oh, that's feel-good moment.
Yeah, feel-good moment indeed. That's what it was, the Texas School Book Depository. We're going a bit tougher on you now, Michael. Maybe not, though. Where in the world am I?
Is that Graceland?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Nice.
I know a lot about things that don't help me in life.
Have you been to Graceland?
No. Have you?
Yeah, I no plans on telling this story, but let me tell you this story. This is how cool my family are. So I turned 60 last year, and about 10 months prior to my birthday, Anne and Nick and Julia we all went out for dinner. They had this plan I didn't know at the time, and we're always playing these little word games with each other. Just little things to keep us interactive. And Nick said, God, we go all around the world together. What, what's on your bucket list? Where would you like to go? And he was pointing at me, and I says, oh, gosh, I don't know. I've been all around. No idea. So he had 3 places that he brought up. I think Tokyo Disney was one and stuff like that. And Anna had a list. So I'm there, the only one with not a list. And I said, gosh, I don't know. I mean, he says, well, come on, 3 places, Dad. Play the game. I said, I don't know. I said, I know. I'd love to go to Graceland. Never been to Graceland. I'd love to go to Graceland. And so I'd love to do that. I'd love to go to Dealey Plaza, massive JFK, in the assassination. Used to study that. And I used to study a lot about the Titanic. So I'd love to go on the QM2 from New York to Southampton and kind of retrace the route. So when my birthday came around, we sat there for dinner, and they gave me an envelope, and all 3 places were on there, a trip.
Wow.
That is so nice. Number 1, you're making too much money. And number 2, please adopt me.
That was amazing. It was amazing, amazing gift. But yeah, so that's that. So we're at the part of the show. I love this because I get to ask this question, and it always evokes all kind of answers. This is for all 3 of you. If you could spend the next hour with 2 people, any 2 people, anywhere, dead or alive, known or not, and one place, where would you like to spend the next 60 minutes, and who with? 2 people, one place. We're going to start with Conrad.
Probably my mom, who's been gone for a long time. The place would be the beach in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And our special guest to join us at that gathering would be Groucho Marx.
Okay. Was she a big fan?
No, but I was. So that would give me an opportunity to catch up with her and let her know what's been happening since she's been gone. And Groucho and I could just kick around some animal cracker stories and things of that nature. So I just thought it would be a good opportunity to get two of my favorite people on the place that is still my favorite spot in the world, even though I live virtually on a beach. Nothing better than the Jersey Shore for those of us that had the privilege of growing up there.
That's great. Great stuff. On your subject of Adopt Me, Michael, Jan Stenning just wrote, Michael Paul Davies.
Yes, it has a nice ring to it.
That's funny. Tracey, two people, one place, anywhere. Who would it be?
I would like to go to a pub garden with Freddie Mercury and Carrie Fisher.
Okay.
Because Princess Leia for me when I was a kid was everything, and I think Carrie Fisher was an absolute genius, and Freddie Mercury is obviously just Freddie Mercury. So yeah, I think we'd have an absolute ball.
Brilliant.
And a few bevies.
What do you think the conversation would be?
Probably drink.
What a drink.
What can we drink?
Well, Michael, I can't wait to hear this. Two people, one place. Where would it be?
I think I'd like to spend some time with Oprah. Seriously, I think that even though, when you're that rich and that wealthy, you get a little kooky, and I know she might have become a caricature of herself, but I really the work that she has done and emotionally, spiritually, and professionally and financially has been really terrific. I'd like to sit in her backyard for one of her Super Soul Sunday under a tree. And although I got to meet him and work for his company, I never got to know Jim Henson as an adult. And,
oh, wow.
And it would be nice to know him as an adult. And he is the company started in a brownstone that they call the Carriage House on the Upper East Side of New York. And the family still has it. And it wasn't the office. It was a separate thing. And I'd love to sit with a cup of tea and spend a while with him.
Great answers, superb answers. This has been a great show, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Three fabulous guests with amazing stories. I feel we could probably be here for another 3 hours. It's been great. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Conrad. Thanks, Tracey. You guys have been great. It's been awesome. We've got a special live episode of TAD Talk tomorrow. We weren't going to do this, but we're going to do it because Sam Kane is going to be hosting the show. Not me. Sam's hosting the show. And tomorrow the special guests are myself and Nick and Julia.
Yay!
Family. And I can see Anne and Nick digging out those embarrassing photographs. Sweet talk. So that's going to be fun. That's tomorrow. It's the same time. It's Saturday, which is an unusual one for us. But then again, we'll be back on Monday with another week of TAD Talk. And as you know, we promise we're going to do this as we're all sat in quarantine with finding things to do. We're going to do this until we're on the other side of it. And then we'll probably go down to a slower schedule, but we're still going to be here. This is a lot of fun. On Monday, we've got 3 guests. One I'm going to keep as a surprise, two people I admire greatly. As you know, I play piano. Judy Carmichael is astounded at her skill level. She's one of the greatest stride pianists in the world and a Steinway artist. And she's joined by Bill Cantos, who is the guy behind the Disney Cafe, the Circle Sessions, which is all the Disney songs that are played in a jazz style at Cafe Circle. And it's a great show. And next week, we got all kinds of people on. So we'll be sharing them on our Facebook page. But thank you for joining us. Subscribe to our YouTube page, TAD Talk. Go and see Michael tonight on his show. Go on his social media. We'll be posting that link as well. And thank you all for joining us on the show. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye, everyone.